Hi everyone, so in today's video we've got a really special guest. I've been following her for a while and I appeared on her podcast. So it is Blk Mum to Midwife, also known as Chelsea. So do you want to say hi?
Hi, hello everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, the reason I kind of wanted to get Chelsea on is because obviously she's a midwife, she's training. She's got a lot of useful information for midwives on her Instagram account, and you've got a blogcast as well, haven't you?
Yes.
So yeah, do you want to kind of introduce yourself, maybe talk about the blogcast first, because I just mentioned that, like tell everyone what that's about.
Oh, hi everyone. So as Sarah said, my name's Chelsea and I am now a second year student midwife, and I actually started my blogcast during lockdown. It was my lockdown baby, because I had started a blog initially when I first started uni, or just before I started, and it had I had not been keeping up with the blogging, and being at home and also having like theory work to do, I was just like, I can't write anymore. I just can't write. So I just thought the best way to kind of carry things on would just be to talk. So that's when the idea of the blogcast came up even. And yeah, I just thought it would be nice, a nice way of connecting with other, not just student midwives, but other mums, other people who are maybe possibly like changing careers, and just it's just a nice way just to chat, really. Get things off your chest a little bit.
That's what I really like about it. And also, like, it's just nice, like when you're at home, especially when you're working from home, just have a bit of chitter chatter going on. So like I always listen to like podcasts and stuff when I'm just in the kitchen, or if I'm doing a bit of work that doesn't require my like full attention, because otherwise I won't do the work. But yeah, it's just nice to kind of, it's like a bit of company, isn't it? Like listening to other people chat.
One of my favourite things actually now is like go for walks with a podcast.
Yes, yeah.
So nice, really
I love it. Yeah. So yeah, that's all the blogcasts. So you can find that. Where can you find that?
So you can listen to it on quite a few platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You can find other platforms on my Anchor page. So it's Anchor FM and Blk Mum to Midwife. You can search for me on there, and then it will show you all the other platforms. I can't remember them.
Yeah. And on Instagram, obviously, Blk Mum to Midwife.
Yes.
So yeah, Chelsea, I just really wanted to know how come you got into midwifery. So obviously you're a mum of one little girl and you're in your second year. So I thought it'd be quite good for other mums, because I've got a lot of mums who are midwives or nursing or doing counselling, psychology degrees. So it's just to kind of get an idea of how come you decided now to do midwifery.
Well, I had the idea a few years ago, a few years back. And we were still living in London, and I was umming and ahhing over doing an access course, which I actually started via distance learning. And then got engaged, and then that just kind of got pushed to the side, and then we got married, we got pregnant, we had baby, just life just happened. And before I knew it, it was like a few years had gone, and that idea of being a midwife, but it's still at the back of my mind. But obviously going through my own pregnancy and having our little one, and also having amazing midwives, it just kind of relit that fire. So every appointment I got really excited, so I could like ask them stuff, and there was the student that came along to some of our appointments as well, and I know she was really nervous about like doing blood pressures and stuff, and I was like, no, it's fine, I don't really mind, you can do it however many times, because you need to learn. So so it was really nice getting to know the student as well, and I just thought, this is what I want to do. But I had to kind of bide my time a little bit. We were still in London at this point, living in London at this point, and I had got, when you're just like, okay, I have a job and it's like a decent job and it pays the bills, and if I was to give this up, and I was just kind of doubting whether I could actually do it. Making that actual leap, that was like the hardest part for me, because I was like, I've just got used to be like financial independence, and
Yeah. What was your job? What were you working as?
So I was doing project management with a social care charity, the Social Care Institute for Excellence.
Okay.
So and we were based we moved around quite a bit, but we were based just by Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
Street. I was. It was really, I was thinking, oh, maybe this is not good.
Like, were you really enjoying that job as well? Like, was it a career that you'd got into, or did you fell into it?
Yeah, I definitely fell into it. I worked a bit at the Department of Health, and it was still like project man. Like I was an executive assistant. And then did projects, and then moved over to this charity, and I was actually there for about 6 years. It was like the longest job. Like I basically grew up in that job. My line manager saw me get married, have a baby, like
so it makes it even harder to leave, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I was just like, oh my gosh. But we had decided that we were going to leave London, so I actually left that job, left London, and started a new job in Bedfordshire.
So what job was that? What were you doing?
So that was actually at the university.
Oh.
And it was within the Innovation and Enterprise Service. So like helping academics source funding for research projects.
Okay, yeah.
But
wasn't what you expected.
No, it really wasn't. They sold me a dream with that.
Oh no. Was it? I mean, the job sounds really like interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Good title to have on your door.
It does, yeah. But no.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, because obviously I'd moved away from all my family. I was just like, no.
Yeah.
That was like, and being in like the academic environment, I was like, okay, no, you have to do it. And I met like actually one day I was walking just to deliver some papers to the legal office, and I heard these two students in front of me talking, and like I asked, oh, excuse me, like, are you student midwives? And they were like, yeah, we're student midwives. I was like, oh, how are you finding it? And they were like, oh, absolutely amazing. And she's like, well, one of them had actually both of them were mums. And I was like, oh, that's what's like worrying me. Like, how do you manage?
Yeah.
And she was like, you just do. Like, you just do, but don't let that stop you from applying. And after that day, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I finally decided I quit that job and actually took a bank job at my local hospital, doing as a HCA.
Oh, right,
assistant, so just to get some kind of clinical experience, because I'd only ever worked in offices, so I thought, let me get into that whole world, and see, you know, if I can hack it. And I loved it. Like, it's hard work, and some of the shifts were a bit intense, but I absolutely loved it. And so I thought, definitely.
You knew then straight away.
I did that for the year before, as I was doing my UCAS and things like that, and then here I am. I can't believe I've done 1 year already.
Wow, yeah. So it just shows that, you know, even though you've got so many commitments, just taking that leap paid off for you, you know. And also the way that you said that you were overhearing those midwives talk, it's so important just to hear people in the job just talk about how it is.
Yes.
I feel that's kind of what's kind of missing, is like hearing just people every day talk about it. Like, you don't necessarily want to hear it from the perspective of the leaflet, kind of a bit staged, but actually just hear everyday people talking about it, that's what I really like, is just to hear normal people talk. So you mentioned that you started at Access School, so did you have a previous degree, or had you been to uni before? Or?
Yeah, I had been to uni before. I didn't finish that degree. I started a human sciences degree, anatomy, cell and human biology degree. So I've always loved.
So it was kind of in you anyway.
And so this is why this means so much to me. And another reason why is because at that time in my life, I wasn't ready for that, and I really
can't just go to uni straight after school. Was it like just the next progression?
Everybody was going, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I liked sciences, and that's all I knew. So but that didn't really work out. But now, like, I'm so just a lot more focused. And I'm like passionate about what I'm doing. So
So does that help you through the fact that you know, you're really passionate about what you're doing. So you know how when you were talking to them girls before and they're like, you just make it work. So how have you made it work?
yeah, no, 100%. It really, because it's a very intense course. So you've got it's a longer course, first of all.
Okay, how many years is it?
So not I mean, not so much the amount of years. It's still 3 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Instead of 38 weeks, it's like 45 weeks of
Oh,
the year.
yeah.
So we get like annual leave, but like when everyone's like off for the summer, we're working a placement or
okay,
still going.
Yeah.
So and my uni, we do integrated placement and theory. So some places do blocks of theory and then blocks of placement, but we mix the two. So like a couple of days a week we're in uni, and then the rest of the week we're doing our shifts. Wherever we are. Which I really like that, because I like learning by doing. So I get the theory and then I can go and like put it into practice. So I really like that. But for some people it can be a bit of a struggle. You just have to be organised. Like organisation is like the key word.
So how do you organise? What's your kind of top tips for other students?
So buy a planner. Get yourself a planner. Even if you're not a planner person, you'll need a planner. I'm a list person. I love my lists and things like that. So writing things down, especially dates, because as well as your lectures and your placement shifts, you've also got training days, skills days, things in the trust that you need to do, and then obviously things at home as well. So if it just have it all in one place, because it just helps you at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Just write it down. If it's flagged up, just write it down. And so it's easy to keep track of. Another thing is like, it's really like kind of really boring things, but meal planning. Meal planning takes. I hate food shopping with the I hate it. Like, I just so I do it all online, and I just have my schedule of meals and then the ingredients.
Do you know what to buy?
Copy and paste.
That's a good thing with online, isn't it? Your trolley's already there from last week.
Exactly. So those kind of things, really, like anything to kind of cut down the amount of time you're doing things, to kind of not so much fill it with other things, but it just makes life a bit easier.
So you've got less things on your plate, so like you've got that little bit more downtime, because you know, driving to the supermarket, queuing and all that, it's just so much time. Putting it all away.
I hate it. So online shopping is the way forward, definitely. Meal planning, and just making sure that you actually make it. I'm really bad at this, is making sure that you've got a little bit of time for yourself to do something. Even if it's, you know, reading a few pages from a book that's like non-related to your course, or what you're studying. I think we're all really bad at that, as mums anyway. Like, I think of my life, because when I was studying for my probation practice, similar like yours, we were working and then we had like uni days, and I didn't have any responsibilities then, and I thought, what did I do with my time? Like, now I'm like really trying to like squeeze in any time for me. But again, I'm trying to get in the habit of, when I like write it in my planner, time for me, and I've got a planner and I've got a whiteboard in the kitchen. I've got like a column for me, family, the business, and so it's like clear cut that here's my time for me. And like I said, you know, even if it's a couple of minutes for yourself. So like sometimes I do really short yoga videos, so just really short ones that I know are just going to take me 15 minutes. I think, well, at least for 15 minutes I've done some kind of movement, something for me. That's really good tips. I'm sure people will kind of share their tips as well. So if you've got any tips, share them too. So you had previous education, you've got into that. Anything else about how you're finding it? So is it like, in terms of like the financial side, you said like there was a big leap. So is the midwifery course free? Like, do you pay the same uni fees, or I know it used to be like funded? It used to be all the NHS kind of allied health professional courses used to be funded. But then they're not anymore.
Oh, okay. So you've had to get like student finance.
So I think it was 2017 was the last cohort.
Oh, okay.
No, 2017. I think they were they were the first ones that had to start paying fees. So they're the ones that have like just qualified now. But yeah, so we have to pay fees and just get a student loan. They have reintroduced for this year, they've introduced an NHS grant. So it's learning support fund, which is like 5k, and then if you have children you can get like extra.
Right, so there is some kind of funding.
And you don't have to repay that, so that's quite handy.
So are you essentially like your week is like a full-time week, so you're either on placement or you're on like doing uni stuff, or do you have any days off in the week? Or
I do at the moment. We're very slow to start this year actually, so I've been just going to the library for my own back because I'm paranoid about like losing learning time. But so when I'm in the hospital we do 22.5 hours a week, so that's 2 shifts. We only do, at my trust, we only do a long day or a night. So from 7 till 8 or 7 till 8. So I do 2 of those a week, and then we have our main uni study day, which is 1 or 2 days a week, and then
the rest is like kind of self-directed learning, so do you have to be quite disciplined on those other days?
I do, because I could just like quite happily do the school run and come back to bed, but I have
to take a nap.
So I've actually recently I've put together like a rough weekly schedule. I know you said you've got like so I've like dedicated some time to reading, have set time to like plan my social media posts, so I don't know, like, because I overthink.
Because you've got to fit that in as well, haven't you? Like that's another thing. So you're doing your midwifery, your Blogcast and your social media. So at least you have to schedule that in.
Set days, right? Do the podcasting, editorial stuff. Do social media, because I don't post every day. I just can't do it. Can't do it. And so maybe like a couple times a week, if you're lucky. But I try to engage quite a lot, so that kind of makes up for my lack of posting sometimes. But that's another thing that I just try and compartmentalize my week, so it kind of breaks it up a bit. And
definitely. And how are you finding the academic side? Is it kind of more difficult than you thought, or how are you finding kind of learning all the theory and writing the essays?
I really actually quite enjoy it. I'm one of those weird people that like I'm not gonna say I love writing essays, because you get to the point where you're just like, I'm bored of this now. I'm sick of seeing, I'm sick of reading. I've gone word blind. But I do really enjoy writing. I like researching, because obviously it forces you to read.
It forces you to learn so much more.
Fall down like a rabbit hole of like, this stuff is really good. So I like it in that respect, of that you kind of like soak up so much. So I've really enjoyed it. There's bits that I found, the most challenging thing that I found theory-wise was we had to do a literature review, and I'd never done, because I've been out of education since like 2005. And I didn't have to do an access course because of my previous experience. So I was like, I went in cold. Like a lot of the girls had like done the year at college and getting back into it, but I was like, I had no idea what a literature review was, so I had to read up on that, like how to structure it, and obviously you can ask tutors so much, but they can't write it for you. So you have to kind of work things out, figure things out on your own. And I found that really challenging in the sheer amount of information that you had to read before you could even write anything. So I was there with these like a pile of like primary research papers, which weren't really all interesting. That we got to pick our topic, and I picked it was the effectiveness of antenatal breastfeeding education. On initiation and duration of breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Because I'm so all for like antenatal education when it comes to breastfeeding, because it can make such a huge difference. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. I did go cross-eyed at like certain points because I was
it can be like information overload, can't it? Yeah.
So I really struggled with that one, but I was actually really pleased with the result I got. And,
that's brilliant. So if you can share any tips, maybe we can do another video on tips, like in terms of lip reviews, because a lot of the students that I come across, they struggle with that as well, and they struggle with the critical analysis. The feedback is always need for more critical analysis, but then they don't necessarily explain what that is. I've got loads of different techniques for like taking your notes, for like making reading more effective, and lip reviews. What's your kind of bigger goal? Because obviously you've set up your Blogcast, your Instagram account. So kind of what's your like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like once you're qualified and everything?
So yeah, in 5 years, I really hope to be, because I think I want to either end up, this is like the way down that, in research or in academia. But I think in 5 years' time, what I would love more than anything is to be in a home birth team. I would absolutely love to be a home birth midwife.
Is everyone fighting for that team, or like?
there's a few of us. And we're just like, that's the dream. That is the dream. And I would also actually like to train to become a lactation consultant. Because in my trust there's only one breastfeeding specialist midwife.
Really? Why? One? In the whole trust? Is that because of funding? They're not putting funding into it, or that people are not trained? You need to get in there.
So, and obviously the obviously with Black Breastfeeding Week obviously happening recently, there's a real need for more Black and brown people in lactation consulting.
Definitely,
we need to help other people.
My sister, she really wants to get into that as well. So if you're watching, Lisa, here you go. Take notes. So she's a teacher at the moment, and she's, I've been encouraging her to, because she was saying I want to be a doula. I can say a doula or a lactose consultant, because again she's like all for like breastfeeding and no home birth and stuff like that.
Look into it, because you can start off doing like peer support, which is a good way. And like if I think it's the Association of Breastfeeding Mothers. They do kind of training. To become a peer support, then a counsellor, and.
So there's loads of avenues. So maybe again it's about awareness. Like people don't really know. They know there's midwife, but they don't know what else there kind of is in that kind of field.
Exactly.
But I don't know if it's since becoming a mum, but I find like me, like my family members, my friends, we're all kind of like wanting that career change. Like that's how I got into like tutoring, and you kind of reach a point and you're like, I want more. Like for the next like 10 years of my life, can I still see myself in this role, or doing something else? And what you said at the beginning about taking that leap, I'm sure loads of people connect with that, about taking that leap into just making that career change. So thanks so much, Chelsea. It's been really fun talking to you and finding out about everything. Like I said, you can find Chelsea on Instagram, Blk Mum to Midwife, and that's it. Thanks everyone. Bye.